Well, my name is Max, Maxwell Janssen. I grew up in Alliston, Ontario. So it's 2 hours north of Toronto, kind of half city, half country, and a really tight-knit town of Dutch farmers. I grew up in a Christian family. So my first experiences of God was reading our Bibles at dinner, praying in the morning, our parents praying with us before we go to bed, and then also attending church. That church community was really, I guess subconsciously, because I was a kid, kind of formed my view of who God was. And throughout the years, I kept going to that church and went to Christian school. So I was kind of fed from a lot of different places. And it was more of like a morals, values thing, which I guess for most kids, that's usually what it is. I kind of fell into that. But when I really started experiencing and realizing that it was a relationship and that it took a lot actually from my end to be engaged in it and be present with God, was probably the last semester of university. So a while later. My whole first semester, I was a totally different person. I started partying a lot. I went with a couple friends from high school and they really enjoyed to party. So I kind of joined that lifestyle, even though I didn't really enjoy it that much. Second semester, I fell into like a really deep depression. And I wouldn't be going out anymore. I wouldn't go to the club with my friends or go partying. But I would just stay in my room and watch nature documentaries, which was actually really sweet. So I stayed in there. I remember my mom actually packed me a Bible. And I remember one night when I was watching the nature documentaries, I just like pulled it out and I was like, I'm just gonna start reading again. And I think in that second semester, my friends from high school would actually come to visit me from other schools, like other colleges and universities, to party because our school was known for it. And when they came, they knew that I wasn't going out anymore and partying, so they would come and talk with me before they went out with my friends. And I remember the nights would just turn into them actually not partying either and just staying and being like, oh, I'm gonna talk with Max. And it turned into like hour conversations and prayer time, and it was really cool because I wouldn't call myself super strong in my faith at that time. But even just to start to see the Lord working and how he worked and the healing he was doing in their lives through me who didn't really know that much was really cool. So I think that's when I started to realize just how real it was. Something the Lord, I think, has been teaching me in the past year and a half, 2 years, has really been what it means to live with a God who is present in everything. I was on a bus ride home from work and I just had this feeling to take out my earbuds, which has been a practice I've been trying lately, to just be really present when I'm out and about in the world. So took out my earbuds. I was like, okay, like if anything is there for me, Lord, just like lead me to it. And I remember coming out of the bus and there's always this guy that sits down at Safeway, a homeless man. And I remember walking by him. I was probably like 50 meters down the road, just on my way to my house. I was super hungry. So I was like, I really want to get home. And something in me was just like, turn back around. Like he's there. What? You literally just took out your earbuds to be present. And right when you came out of the bus, like you looked him in the eye. So I went back and just started talking to him and asked if he wanted any food or anything from Safeway, and went in and bought some granola bars, and we kind of just sat there and ate the granola bars together and talked and chatted, and just really cool to hear who he was. He's like, no one really ever stops for me. Like, this was pretty cool. And I was like, yeah, it's nice to meet you. Like, we should go for lunch sometime. I didn't see him for a while after that, and on my way home, just prayed for him. And 2 weeks later, I saw him. He was sleeping there that night, and he looked pretty cold. So I offered if he wanted a coffee, and he's like, no, it's too far away. And I really had an urge to just go home, and it was really late. But I was like, no, like, I really want to talk to this guy. So I went and got a coffee and sat down with him, and we talked for like an hour or a couple hours and just chatted about his life and even his history with the church. He used to be really good friends with people from church. Just a few things happened to him, and he's been living a pretty hard life. And in that, the Lord brought me words that in those moments, I kind of just, when I'm walking up to them, I get stressed again. Like I said, in the shelter, it's just like a place where I'm like, I need to know what to say. But really just being present with someone and being there with him and kind of sitting down with him and Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment of just I got to pray with him and be there and talk about Jesus. And yeah, I've seen him a few times since, and every time I see him, I say his name and we go get food sometime, and it's pretty cool to just see God work in ways that remind me that like it's not just huge miracles, but God is in the ordinary and every moment is sacred, and like trying to be more aware of that, like those sacred moments and just being present with people. So yeah.